you wanna be somebody, even if you gotta leave somebody. Yes, I'm hurt, yes, I'm dead. Most things I don't wanna say. I won't be around while you change.
Hey you guys, welcome back to Taylor XO, or welcome to Taylor XO if you are a new subscriber. So y'all, let's get into this video. I don't know if anybody did watch Liv's live last night, but she went live. Basically she started talking about or recounting this supposed abuse that she suffered from Jerrod, and we all know that she has been claiming for a few years now on this YouTube stuff that she was in fact abused by Jerrod, and she was a victim of domestic violence. But let's get into this clip of her on this live, and then we will get into it. This is a little long, so if you do want to skip some parts, you guys are more than welcome to, but I just wanted to include this clip to give you guys kind of an idea of how this girl, or how delusional this girl is. But let's get into it.
Yeah, because we are taught as women, well, first of all, we're taught as a whole community that, first of all, everybody's out to get us, the police gonna kill us, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so no, we don't snitch on our men. We don't want nothing to happen. And it's so funny because the narrative has been, I'm a cop caller. Okay? But really, I dug myself my own hole by going through abuse, going through all that type of shit, and never calling the police. I dug myself my own hole because when the tables were turned, you want to talk about snitching and trying to get somebody in trouble or throw somebody under the bus, that was completely done to me. And no, there's no proof of anything, because that's actually a lie. Everything that was said about me was actually a lie. But still, when I tried to defend myself and been like, what? Are you kidding me? I've been abused, I've been choked out, I've been this. Well, where's the proof? If you've been choked out, if you've been slapped, if you've been pushed, if your hair was pulled, where's the proof? There's no proof. There was no cops called, no nothing. So women, I understand you trying to be ride or die, and you're trying not to tell on your man. You don't want nothing to happen to your man. Let me tell y'all something. Let me tell y'all a short little story time, because I want y'all to understand, all the ladies out there that are young and being manipulated by the culture, by our community, by the people around us. I was like 2 months pregnant, and I got in a fight with my man. I'm not talking about nobody specific. It's really not important. But I got in a fight with my man, and I poured out his beer. I was mad, so I poured out a fucking beer, bitch, in the drain. He came over, pushed me down, socked the shit out of me, and he socked me in the arm. I had the size of this tattoo, that was my black and blue mark, literally. And I was pregnant. I was 2 months pregnant. I think I got choked. I got some shit. Anyway, I was scared. And somebody called the police. I think I called the police. I think I was about to call the police. And this was like in the very beginning. So yeah, I'm allowed to be a little, I'm like, what the fuck? So I called the police, but I hung up. I called and I hung up. Because I was like, no, let me not do that, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, the police still came. Okay, the police still came. And his dumbass was outside, sitting on the stairs. Told his ass not to be sitting there, but he was sitting there anyway. And the police came up and walked up on him. Ah! Princess, you scared the shit out of me, girl. She's over there sniffling. The police walked up, and I was like, fuck. I was like so upset. I was like, oh my God, now he's gonna get in trouble. I was like feeling bad. Mind you, I had just been pushed and socked down to the floor and all this extra shit for pouring out a beer. And I think we were initially fighting because he was talking to another bitch and I was pregnant. I was like, why are you talking to other bitches and I'm pregnant? And then he was drinking and I'm like, why are you drinking? And I poured out his beer. Anyway, that time I did call the police, but I hung up, I remember. And they still came. They took his statement, and I was like, fuck, I was feeling really shitty. And I'm telling you, this is like, I got pregnant like a month in or like 2 months in, so we barely knew each other. The police came upstairs, y'all, and I was like, fuck. I'm about to, I'm about to just say nothing happened, blah, 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 blah. The police came up and they were like, so you pushed him, you slapped him, you did this, you did that. He showed us the marks and blah, blah, blah. Girl! I was like, what? He's down there snitching on me? First of all, I don't remember doing any of that. Maybe I pushed him off of me. Maybe I slapped the shit out of him after he punched me or some shit. I don't fucking remember. But mind you, I have a huge motherfucking bruise on my arm. I never showed the police. I was like, no, I don't know what he's talking about. He was mad. We got in a fight. I don't know what happened. I never showed the police. So he went to jail that night over warrants. Not over hitting me, not over warrants out for him for some traffic shit. Who bailed him out? I got him out that bitch. But I remember I was talking to his sister the next day because I was so upset. I was so upset that he went to jail. And I said, we were talking and I'm like, look, like this is what he did. And I showed her, I promise you guys, my bruise was this big as my tattoo. And she was like she was shocked. And I'm like, but I didn't show the police. Like, I'm not gonna show the police. I never showed the police. But bitch, right there. Right? But I was right to call the police. Don't ever let no fucking man put his hands on you. I don't give a shit what you do, bitch. If you fucking throw a chair at his ass. Whatever. I don't know. I'm trying to think of the most craziest shit you could do to him. If you, whatever. And that man puts his hands on you, and you pregnant, you have every right to call the police. I don't give a fuck if you white, black, red, brown, Mexican, Asian. Don't ever let somebody put their motherfucking hands on you.
So in that clip that you guys just heard, basically she was explaining how when she first got pregnant, about 1 to 2 months with Jerrod, she basically experienced some abuse from him. And she started going into the story about how she was in the house and they started getting into an argument about something, I guess, because he was talking to another girl. And I guess she had found out and she wanted to confront him. And she said that she poured out his beer. And that's when he pushed her down and choked her and left a big bruise on her arm. And she said that basically she did not call the cops on him, but somebody else did in the apartment. And how she got into the conversation because she was talking about the culture and how now it's, a no snitch culture, and people, or women specifically, are afraid to call the cops on their men because they are considered snitches. And sis, I will say that at the end of the day, I think any woman that is experiencing, severe abuse from a man enough to call it, a domestic violence survivor, I will say that I don't think any woman would not want to call the cops because they think that, they will be considered a snitch. Maybe in the streets, they do it that way, but I would think a domestic violence survivor would not consider herself a snitch because she got out of her situation or an abusive situation from her husband. I don't, or husband, boyfriend, whatever. I don't think that anybody classifies that as, a snitch. So then she proceeded to go on to speak on her story with Jerrod. And like I said previously, we all know that she's been claiming for years now that she was abused by Jerrod. She's claimed that Robin has witnessed it, Christian has witnessed it, Ryan, all three of the kids. And Jerrod has, gone on Instagram Live a few times, or at least once I recall of. And he had told his truth that he has never put his hands on her and he will stand in his truth. And I honestly do not believe that Jerrod ever put his hands on her. Now, we know that, Liv does have a mouth, and it's not to say that if a woman has a mouth, she is deserved to be hit. But people will say at the end of the day that this girl does sure push buttons, and it wouldn't be so out of the ordinary for Jerrod maybe to, maybe get a little bit frustrated. And I wouldn't say that he has hit her, because we do know that Liv is a cop caller. And if this man truly hit her, then where is the police records? Now, she said that people had tried to basically say that it never happened because she's shown no police records or shown any proof. But at the end of the day, I just do think that if this woman truly did go through this domestic violence story, number one, she wouldn't be laughing and smiling through it all and almost making a joke out of it. Domestic violence is a serious thing, and we all know that true domestic violence survivors do not have that type of demeanor towards, telling their story. We do know that people who tell their story seem to get very emotional. They cry. They don't like to talk about certain details because, it brings on certain trauma. This girl does not seem like any woman who has experienced any trauma from being constantly or consistently beaten by a man. Now, we also know that she is so pressed on always trying to get some type of sympathy from people. And, at the cost, she will lie on her children's father continuously, time and time again, knowing that, now, I do think that maybe they have got into a little pushing here and there. I mean, Jerrod did like to drink. That was his thing. But like I said, I just don't think that he was the type to get drunk and sit home and beat on his girlfriend. I just don't get the vibes from that. So she does claim that the police officer came to the apartment because somebody else had ended up calling the police. And, it is understandable. I don't think that is such a far-fetched thing to believe that, it is an apartment. The walls are thin. She did have a top apartment at the time because she did used to always complain about how the neighbors, were constantly knocking at her door about the kids running and screaming, playing around. So, it doesn't sound not that believable that somebody did call, but she said that the police officer basically, just ended up leaving, and she just told him that nothing happened, but she did say that Jerrod had told the police that something happened. She basically said that Jerrod was saying that she was hitting him and that she was spazzing on him and that he had marks all over him. And I honestly do believe that. I think that Liv is the type to get very violent, and she is the type to start things and push and push and push. And when you finally, push her back or do something like that or shove her, she's the type to call the police and act as though as if that man just sat there and beat her and beat her and beat her, and she just had no doing to the situation. And that's how her type typically is. They want to always play the innocent role, but deep down we know that they are the true instigator of the situation. So I don't understand why she chose to speak on this situation. I guess because what she was talking about, but I feel like she brings up certain things so she can bring up Jerrod. And honestly, at this point, a lot of people have said, why doesn't this man get some type of order against her to not speak on him online, especially when she's still speaking on delusional stories of lies. And I know some people will say, well, you were never there. You don't know if it truly happened. And I will say that, it is a chance that they did push and shove each other. But like I said, because of Liv's history, and we do know that even Brandon, it had came out that she had called the police on him well over 5 to 8 times. So I will say that if she is so pressed to be a cop caller on these men, especially Zolo, she called the cops on him. Almost every man that she's been with, she's called the cops. So it's just very hard to believe that she just sat there and let this man beat her and she just did nothing. Maybe she did nothing because she was 2 months pregnant at the time, and she kind of made it seem like, she just always tries to make the situation sound so much worse than it was, just because she, is so bitter about Jerrod that, she wants to always make him out to seem like this monster. But I will say that I do not think that Jerrod has ever hit her, and I think that if he did, it maybe was a shove, if anything. But I just think that she does need to dead the whole thing of her trying to, pass off as this domestic violence survivor when she is not a, survivor of domestic violence. I think that, really is ignorant to the women who really have experienced domestic violence and have been beaten, and especially in front of their kids, and, have died as a result of this all. So, I will say that in all the years that she was filming with Jerrod and doing those vlogs over the years, I never seen her come on live and have bruises on her, or, just have this demeanor towards him, like she was scared to say certain things because he would hit her. A lot of the times abused women do have this demeanor about them to where they don't want to say certain things, or they act a certain type way because they don't want to put themselves in a situation, to get hit on, or just how it always ends up, typical domestic violence, what typical women that do go through domestic violence. So I will say that she has always had this very, careless mouth to her, just says whatever to him, has called him gay, has, said that called him the B word, has, put him down time and time again. And, one day I want to do a compilation to her videos. I will have to probably dig through old lives that people or the reactors have up, because we know that she did delete a lot of their videos. And that's another thing too, like, she did delete all their videos together as a family, so it's kind of hard for the people who are new here to go back and look at her demeanor and how she was with him. And I would think that, true survivors would tell spot on right then and there that this girl is not a survivor and not what she claims to be. But comment down below, you guys, what you guys think on this situation. Do you think that she is truly lying about all the domestic violence that she has gone through, or do you think that she truly did? And which like I said, y'all, it all adds up. All the points and all the everything adds up to this girl is just straight lying. I mean, she has lied about so many things, and that's another thing. When you lie so much, it's really hard to tell if you're truly telling the truth. But comment down below, you guys, what you guys think. I love hearing you guys' thoughts and opinions. Thank you guys so much, and stay tuned for another one.
Tell me what you see in me. Gotta be